Well, it's about freaking time. It's been way too long, and finally getting a chance to go to VIR. So last track event I went to was actually at VIR, or no. It was at Dominion Raceway where I was overheating, and then I was gonna go to another event at Dominion Raceway, but the ethanol. I was having an ethanol issue. Like the module was not reading for the flex fuel kit, so that was an issue there. And then as I've spoken about in my two other previous videos, just a slew of problems coming up. Finally, everything's figured out. Just the other day, I actually went to Subaru, and just because there's a shop that I do go to, but this was so last minute that they couldn't really meet my timeline. Like I had to go last week just to get it in, but they didn't want to make a promise that they couldn't keep, so wasn't able to make it in there. Got into Subaru the next day, thankfully, and out of nowhere, like I don't know how it happened. There's a Subaru that's down the street from my house. They never have the parts in stock that I need. They've never once had like they didn't have the axle nut. They haven't had a few other pieces. They didn't have fender liner stuff. I can't name everything that off the top of my head, but they've never had a part that has been in stock that I needed right then and there. So I decided to go down to Norfolk and have this work done. Tremendous customer service. I actually missed their text message, and like 5 minutes after I left, because I was in such a hurry and so focused on getting back to get my dang lug key. Like I need to start keeping those in the dang car, and like I used to, but I decided not to. But anyway, went down there and I showed up at 2:30. The funny thing is, the text said, "Hey, if you show up at 2:30, we may not be able to get this in." Blah blah blah. And when I showed up at 2:30, the service manager came out and was like, "I don't know if we could do this," but they took my car immediately back anyway. And not only did I need to get the wheel bearing replaced, which I'll show the snippet here of what that looks like, but I also had to get the knuckle itself, or the hub itself. My bad, not the knuckle, the hub. So the wheel bearing was so loose and banging on everything that it actually had created a little lip on the hub. So I had to get that replaced. They had the entire hub in stock, which like blows my mind that such a crazy part would actually be in stock. But anyway, that's fixed. The coolant is still good, or yeah, the cooling system. I did have to fill it just a little bit. I guess just now it's just got a little bit of a bleeding issue where it bleeds out some of the air or the water. My bad. Gosh, it's late. Trust me, it's like almost 10 o'clock right now. So been working all day. But the coolest part is I've been doing some experimenting with some stuff, and I actually got I tinkered around, and as you can see there, I have the Exoneering blip module all hooked up. It's inside there. Currently, I do not have a lighter or a charging port, the 12-volt charging port, because I have that wired into it. I can easily unplug it because all it is male-female quick connects, because I didn't feel like dancing around messing with the spaghetti that is underneath the dash on such a short timeline. So I decided not to do that, and it's all hooked up anyway. So now I've got to get the brakes swapped over to the race stuff or track stuff. I got to get the track tires on, got to change the oil, change the spark plugs, or at least the 3 that I haven't changed. And I believe that's all the maintenance that I have to do for it. I might change the differential gear oil, but I'm not 100% on that just yet because there's not been any abuse on that. So I don't think there needs to be any change to it. But yeah, let's get started. I'll put this on a time lapse, and here we go. All right, y'all. Just wanted to take a quick second to show you some of the damage that was done by the accident being loose and, you know, things just moving around. So this is the inside of the rotor, obviously, if you couldn't already tell. But I would show you the caliper itself, but it's heavy, and I'm not going to remove the brake line from it. And I'm doing a time lapse, so don't feel like moving the camera over there. But you can see this groove that got put into the rear of the rotor. So every time I would turn the steering wheel to the right and try to reverse, the caliper where the bolts of it hold it to the knuckle, they would all those. It's like the inside of the caliper where the ends of the bolts come. Those would always snag on. And if I were to show you, you could also see a little bit. I might take a picture and post it really quick. But you can see the little scrape marks of what was digging into the rotor. So also on the previous track rotor that I had, it was doing the exact same thing. Now the scary part about this issue is I actually don't know how long this has been going on for. And I'm sorry if I'm out of frame, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, and I don't know if you can actually tell, but things all nice and shiny down there. The hub is. But yeah, just thought I'd take a second to show you all the damage. I'll take a picture really quick, see what that, so you guys can see what the caliper itself looks like. Let's get back to the time lapse. All right, well, that'll do it for tonight. It is way too late, but at least this went way smoother than I had anticipated. All the brakes are swapped over to their track components, so that is cool. Having done this so many times in the past couple of months, I'm really getting it down to a science, so that's very nice. I also just found a ratcheting wrench for the fronts, so that makes that job a whole lot easier, because one of the bolts for the calipers is like it hugs one of the knuckle to coilover bolts, the head of it anyway. So can't really squeeze a ratchet with a socket on in there. So that does it for tonight. Tomorrow the goal is going to be spark plugs and oil change, and if I'm lucky, get out of all this mess. I now also have both fender liners, so I'll probably try to get those put in. Gonna take off the mud flaps on the rear. Already did it to the fronts. And the reason why I need to get on here is because if you see there, and I probably should grab a flashlight, which I'll do right now. If you look there, I got some wires that are losing their sheathing, and yeah, so I know I've been having issues with my my fender liners, and like it actually ripped off at the last session on or my last session at Dominion. So they've been slowly but surely coming off, because I've even lost part of it on VIR right after the snake before the uphill S's. So that's that. But overall, everything else should be pretty simple, hopefully. After this track event, I'm also going to do a transmission fluid change. And then I've got a few other projects that I want to get done. Definitely want to get the wiring handled. But until then, for right now, what I did forget to mention was that I've been playing around with flat foot shifting as well. So I'm going to try that at the track, but I am a little bit apprehensive as to how safe that might be. Sure enough, I won't fall out of boost, but and you know, I want to say the engine's built for it, and I've been doing it quite a few times over the past couple of days, and the engine seems to handle it just fine. But uh, with as many miles as there are on this engine, I don't really want to take any chances, but at the same time, I want to get as fast of a lap time as I can. So maybe if I get some open track and I don't have any traffic in front of me, that's when I'll do it, so that I can, get as fast of a lap time as I can. But I'm also very excited to try out that module that I showed you all. So I had to make some adjustments on it because as it comes, it's programmed already for a 50% throttle blip for 300 milliseconds. And albeit the module is not made for street driving whatsoever, like that blip is supposed to be aggressive, so maybe it is something that I'll turn back up. But after experiencing it on the street a little bit and feeling the lurching and whatnot, I decided to go down to a 30% throttle for 300 milliseconds. I've just got to play around with it, see what I like and what I don't like. And it's going to be a whole different driving characteristic change. It's going to be kind of interesting doing it. So I'm excited for it just because I know downshifts will be a lot better. But at the same time, there's some driving behavior that's going to have to be adjusted, and that'll be a wild experience. But either way, right now it's set for a 30% throttle blip for 300 milliseconds. We'll see how that goes during track driving, which is meant for, and who knows, I may turn it back up to the 50 or just gradually work the way back up. But that's all to be determined by how the track experience goes. So, like I said, tomorrow, oil change and spark plugs. I've only got 3 of them to do, but go figure, the one that I did was the easier one. So, yeah, there it is. Until tomorrow, which will be a second away for you all. Until then, see you soon. All right, I'm back. So it hasn't been one night, but it's been 2 nights. Yesterday I got, decided to be a little bit social and hung out with some friends. So didn't get any of the work done on the car. Kind of let priority number 1, which was the car, become priority number 2, and continue hanging out with friends. So probably a bad decision, but I think tonight kind of made up for it. So it was a lot. I did a lot, I'll say. I did not get the spark plugs done though, so that is that. But I did get the brakes were bled. I just did that just because I felt like that needed to happen. The brakes were tight. Well, after I got the hub and the wheel bearing and all that replaced, so everything's like now snug and the rotor isn't like shaking around. I no longer have to double press, so it felt amazing. After, like I said, I went to Subaru and got that all replaced. But I went ahead and bled the brakes anyway, so now I'll have even more confidence in that. There were no air bubbles that came out of it. Basic maintenance, changed out the oil, and then decided to, you can't see it from here, but I decided to take off the mud flaps. So now I'll take it around and show you that if I can. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. You can't see it at all with that, so excuse me while I kind of just take you around. But got a new fender liner in there, which, yeah, you can tell it's new just because of how it's not the color of anything. So yeah, got that in there. Don't know if you guys have ever noticed it, but I have had mud flaps, and I decided to take those off, both the front and the rear, and excuse the mess. I'm not generally the best at keeping up the shop as I'm doing work, so it's just, the car looks weird now with not necessarily the new fender liners. I think those are awesome. I'm hoping they hold up. They are from eBay, and there are definitely some holes that were a little bit big, like these little guys right here. You can't really tell all that well, but the washer, quote unquote, is really small, and those holes right there were quite large. So hopefully it holds up. Imagine there's gonna be more pushing back on that than there is anything. It was the front part that underneath the bumper where it attaches That's where it got ripped off, and all the problems started to occur, and then the high pressure underneath from all the speed and such. So we'll see how it goes, but I don't know. So what I should think, I don't know if I ever showed it in detail before. The mud flaps added a little bit of, you know, width on the bottom, but not too much. But there's really also not too much else to explain, because I mean, it was just basic maintenance. Tomorrow I'll go through and change the 3 spark plugs that I haven't changed out. I changed the one because while I was troubleshooting the ethanol kit, it was showing that the cylinder number 1 was misfiring, so I changed that cylinder out, but all the rest stayed the same. It runs perfectly fine. I've done multiple pulls, like I said, to experiment with the no lift shift and all that fun stuff. So I haven't had a misfire code pop up since it's actually been to the dealership, which is wild. I don't know if they did something special to it or what, but either way, car's running in tip top, and I'm just happy that everything kind of came out really well. It went way smoother than I was anticipating. So tomorrow we'll be changing the spark plugs and then lowering this bad thing back down, and getting the trailer loaded back up. So you can't see it all, but do have that I need to load up, and then I have a couple crates back there. Got both the jacks, got all the fuel over here. Got to change out the tire, or yeah, the track tires are over there. I just got a lot of stuff to load up, and because I'll be living in the trailer for 2 days. So we'll see how that goes. But till then, y'all, I just wanted to kind of do that video. I didn't want to do a time lapse of me doing, which I did say in a previous video I would try to do, but I had no idea what I was doing when I was putting the fender liners in. That was the first time I've ever done that, and I didn't want to just kind of create a time lapse of me just kind of figuring things out and having it go on forever. So that is that. But yeah, until next time, y'all, maybe on the track, maybe I'll add a little bit of a short piece on here of me getting the car in the trailer, but if not, I'll see you at the track. Till then, stay driven.